The magic words for asylum. Illegal immigrants crossing the border are reportedly using, quote, magic words to prove they fear their home countries, and in return they get a free pass into the United States. Here now is Dinan. He is national political correspondent for the Washington Times. I'm so glad to have you on the show. You wrote this article. You did the story. I want to ask you more about it. How did you find out about this, and what did people tell you when you went down to investigate?
So this has been going on for a while. What really has happened is an exponential increase in the number of people who are showing up at the border, either being arrested by the Border Patrol or showing up at an official port of entry. These are illegal immigrants. They arrive, and when they get here, they've been coached to use, as you said, magic words that entitle them to at least beginning the asylum process. And under an Obama administration policy from 2009, once they begin that process, they're usually let free into the U.S. while they basically await their proceedings and their hearings, giving them a chance to disappear along with the rest of the illegal immigrants already in the country.
So, I mean, there are Border Patrol agents quoted specifically in the article, and they talk about they've seen an uptick in from less than 1% of people used to say this, that now 10% of people are saying it. What are the magic words? I'm afraid to live in my country. What do you say?
Yeah, exactly. In particular, what it is you say you have, in bureaucratic parlance, they have to show a credible fear of being returned, being deported back to their home countries. And there are a number of different words they use, but basically, yes, I'm afraid to return home. Please don't send me home. It's as simple as that, and they are, instantly put on an asylum track. It doesn't mean that they get asylum. In fact, many, if not most of these people will actually eventually be ruled deportable and are supposed to be sent home, but by then they've been in the U.S. for 2-3 years and have disappeared into the shadows. The main thing is that 2009 policy change. Before that, generally they were held in detention, which means that they go through the process, and at the end of the process you know where they are because they're in detention and you can deport them. The big change was that 2009 policy releasing them while they go through this process, which means they've had a chance to disappear into the shadows. And as you said, it's literally 1 out of every 10 illegal immigrants that the agents and officers are encountering along the border who are now using these magic words. And they're being coached in particular, first of all, somewhat by families who have already reached the United States, who are sending emails and phone calls back home, but also through the smuggling cartels, which are being paid to bring them up here. The smugglers say, hey, use these words and you'll get in.
And again, I want to highlight for the audience, the big difference is that instead of being detained once you come across the border and you tell a Border Patrol person this, instead when you say the magic words, you're not detained. And so then you're out there and you can kind of disappear. And the real thing that makes this scary is that if people figure out that this is the way to get in, it's very easy for terrorists to figure out that this is the way to not be held once you got here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody, essentially. We've seen the Central Americans who are flooding the border using this, Haitians who are fleeing, the earthquake and the recent hurricane are using this to get in. Look, the real thing here, the Border Patrol chief actually testified to Congress last week and said, hey, we know this is a problem. We need to change this policy. But the political chiefs at Homeland Security have refused to suggest any policy changes to Congress.
Very interesting. We'll follow the story. Dinan, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time.